So let's watch this. Is success luck or hard work?
Lockdown, this headline went viral. Nearly half of men say they do most of the homeschooling. 3% of women agree. I bring this up not to debate who's right, but because it's a great example of something called egocentric bias. Most people think they do most of the work. For example, researchers have asked authors of multi-author papers what percentage of the work they personally did. And when they add up those percentages, the sum is on average 140%. When couples are asked to estimate...
This is why communism will never work, because everybody's rugged individualists who think they own all the work, baby. Oh my God. Hey, hello, let's go. Me, on the other hand, an intellectual lefty, always admits that it's like 90% chat. Okay, and 10% me. I'm just a vector for all of chat's frustrations, jokes, humor, idiocy in any given moment.
Work they do, the combined total is almost always over 100%. Now you might think this is because people want to appear more helpful than they actually are, but that's not it. When couples are asked what fraction of the fights they start or how much of the mess is theirs, the total is again over 100. People think they do more of the work, but they also think they cause more of the problems. So why is this? I think it's simply because you experience and remember vividly all of what you do, but not all of what everyone else does. So naturally, you overestimate your own contributions and underestimate others. And I think this bias leads us to underestimate the influence of other things on our lives, like the role luck plays in our success. Take hockey players, for example. If you ask a professional hockey player how they managed to reach the NHL, they might mention their hard work, determination, great coaches, their parents' willingness to get up at 5 a.m. and so on, but they probably won't acknowledge how lucky they were to be born in January. And yet, in many years, 40% of hockey...
Classic Malcolm Gladwell, baby. Classic Malcolm Gladwell. I know that everyone always hates... him, but like this is from Outliers, where they talk about how important it is to have in the early stages of your developmental years, how important it is to have even like a 6-month advantage on everyone else, because you develop quicker and therefore you get more eyeballs on you and you get scouted, and your coaches pay more attention to you because you're taller, maybe stronger. That marginal difference yields incredible results in the long run because it elevates you to the top early on. That same mentality or that same concept could be extrapolated towards anyone, like in any field. The racial gap that you think about. Americans love to say we have equality of opportunity in this country, but we certainly do not have that, especially when considering the black and brown communities, immigrant communities, and what kind of amenities they have and what kind of conditions they're subjected to as a consequence of systemic racism and other forms of discrimination.
Hockey players selected into top-tier leagues are born in the first quarter of the year, compared to just 10% in the fourth quarter. An early birthday can make you up to 4 times as likely to be a pro hockey player. And the reason for this disparity is presumably because the cutoff date for kids' hockey leagues is January 1st. Those born in the first part of the year are a little older and so on average bigger and faster than kids in their league born late in the year. Now, as they grow up, this difference should eventually shrink to nothing, but it doesn't. Because the
world is unequal. No matter how you structure society, you're not going to solve that. Yeah, no, inequality exists no matter what, so we should never try to eliminate it. Good take. Thank you. You're right. Why do people always think that that's like a decent take? Oh, dude, no matter what you do, inequality will exist. Okay, so we shouldn't do anything about it. Got it. No matter what you do, gravity will exist. So flying is actually silly as fuck as a concept. Why would you ever try flying? Gravity will exist no matter what. Why would you build tall buildings, dumbass?
Right back to mommy.
Young kids...
You're a caveman is what I'm saying. You literally have an ape brain, a caveman brain.
Who show the most promise are given more time on the ice and enter more tournaments where they receive better coaching and improve their skills. And these advantages compound year after year, so by the time you get to the pros, birthdays are heavily skewed towards the start of the year. But does any professional hockey player feel thankful for their birthday? Probably not. And we are all like that, largely oblivious to the fortunate events that support our success. Probably the most significant bit of luck many of us enjoy is being born into a prosperous country. Around half the variance in income received by people around the world is explained by their country of residence and that country's income distribution. If you were born in Burundi, for example, which has the world's lowest gross national income per capita of just $730 a year, it doesn't matter how smart or hardworking you are, you're unlikely to earn much as an adult. Now, many people get offended if you point out how big a role chance plays in their success. And I get it. If we are just a product of our circumstances, then our hard work and our talent seem to count for nothing. People think it has to be either skill or luck that explains success. But the truth is, you need both. Take these 8 track and field world records. All the athletes who achieved these records are obviously world-class, extremely dedicated and talented, and yet when they achieved their world records, 7 out of 8 had a tailwind. Now these athletes all had the ability to win a gold medal, but to set the world record required a bit of luck as well. The importance of luck increases the greater the number of applicants applying for just a few spaces. Consider the most recent class of NASA astronauts. From over 18,300 applicants in 2017, only 11 were selected and went on to graduate from the astronaut training program. Now we can make a toy model of the selection process. Let's assume that astronauts are selected mostly based on skill, experience, and hard work, but also, say, 5% as a result of luck, fortunate circumstances. For each applicant, I randomly generated a skill score out of 100, and I also randomly generated a luck score out of 100. Then I added those numbers together, weighted in the 95:5 ratio to get an overall score. This score represents the selector's judgments, meaning the top 11 by this metric would become astronauts. And I repeated this simulation 1,000 times, representing 1,000 different astronaut selections. And what I found was the astronauts who were picked were very lucky. They had an average luck score of 94.7. So how many of the selected astronauts would have been in the top 11 based on skill alone? The answer was on average only 1.6. That means, even with luck accounting for just 5% of the outcome, 9 or maybe 10 of the 11 applicants selected would have been different if luck played no role at all. When competition...
That's why affirmative action is racist.
Is fierce, being talented and hardworking is important, but it's not enough to guarantee success. You also need to catch a break. Largely, I think we're unaware of our good luck because by definition, it's not something we did. Like the housework done by...
Listen, not to get too leftist on this video, but your spawn point is your ultimate luck strat, okay? Your luck stat, sorry. Your spawn point and your fucking family and how much intergenerational wealth they had or how much affluence they have and the beginnings that they can offer you. That's it. That's all. What country you were born in. That's all fucking RNG. And that is the most significant factor. That's the most significant factor in how much success you can have within a range of possibilities, of course. Now, that doesn't mean a billionaire's son can't be a gigantic failure. I mean, come on. Charles Koch exists on the same planet that we do. Or was it Charles Koch? What's the fucking shirt guy? But ultimately, their failure is still going to be, or Wyatt Koch, sorry, Wyatt Koch. Their Wyatt Koch's failures are still going to be, they're still going to yield much more success than, I don't know, any middle-class person born in any part of the country. That's why we always say, you and I are much closer to being homeless than being Elon Musk. Like, we are infinitely closer and have more aligned by virtue of class with a homeless person than we do with a billionaire.
by your significant other, it goes unappreciated. And here's the crazy thing. Downplaying the importance of chance events may actually improve your probability of success. Because if you perceive an outcome to be uncertain, you're less likely to invest effort in it, which further decreases your chances of success. So it's a useful delusion to believe you are in full control of your destiny. I mean, if I had known how bad I was when I started YouTube, or how much work it would take, I might have given up right then.
Welcome to Veritasium, an online science video blog.
Now,
dude, me too. Straight up, me too. And a lot of people at that time told me that I probably shouldn't even do it. There were others that believed in me and said, you should never stop. But goddamn, there were so many fucking people who were like, dude, you suck, just stop.
Now, there may be another benefit to overlooking your lucky breaks, which is it makes it easier to justify your place in society. If you have a lot of wealth or power, you can just chalk it up to your own intelligence, effort, and perseverance. It makes it easier to accept inequality. In one experiment, participants were put in groups of 3 in small rooms to discuss a complex moral problem. And one person in each group was randomly designated the team leader. Half an hour later, the experimenter came by with 4 cookies for each team. So who got the extra cookie? In each case, it went to the team leader. Even though they had no special aptitude, they didn't have extra responsibilities, and they'd gotten their position through chance alone.
Wow. I wonder if there's like... I wonder if there's some way that we could look to this and think about, I don't know how wages work or operate. Like maybe the person who was appointed the hat of being the leader, you could think about it like the person that had enough of a comfortable financial background to be able to secure capital and start the business, or even had intergenerational wealth to be able to start that business. That same kind of RNG that plays a factor in they're being born to a family that already owned the business, for example. I gave you multiple different possibilities so you don't just say, oh, a lot of businesses are started by people who aren't like necessarily wealthy or whatever.
American people are tired,
and in that circumstance, they took the extra cookie despite not having any discernible characteristic that meant that they should get more of that cookie. I wonder what the fuck happened there. 80% of millionaires are not born into wealth. I love this take, dude. Yeah, guys. First of all, every single one of those metrics is faulty as fuck. Like, every single one of these fucking metrics are so dumb. Especially because, one, not born into wealth, what's the fucking level of wealth there? What are you considering to be wealth? 2, I love this take because, like, a lot of times people will say, like, well, only 10% of people have inherited their wealth. It's like, yeah, no shit. Do you comprehend how this works? If your father is a fucking billionaire, you don't inherit their wealth until they die, dog.
Oh, you're such
but
a big
don't you think
man,
that they got
Hasan.
a significant advantage? A significant advantage from literally being born into a billionaire family beyond directly inheriting that money? Are you fucking dumb? Like, my father and my grandfather were all incredibly affluent. I call it the Piker-Uger curse. They were all super fucking wealthy and then lost all their wealth. My grandfather spent all of it. My father lost all of it, or he spent most of it and lost a big chunk of it as well. By the time he was in his 20s, my grandfather had, like, you know, burned through everything, or like him for 30s. By the time I was 18, my father had burned through everything. Okay. But that doesn't change the reality that I still got an incredible education as a consequence of that. I got an incredible fucking head start. You understand?
His name is
So it doesn't even
Hasan.
matter. Even if I have nothing to inherit from them, that still doesn't fucking matter because they were able to offer me a comfortable and affluent beginning. That is tremendously important. For a lot of people, it doesn't just go that far, but then on top of that, they also offer networking opportunities. Obviously, for me, that didn't really exist with the exception of me working for my literal fucking uncle. But obviously, for me, that didn't really exist because I'm not from this country. For a lot of immigrants, it doesn't really exist outside of their immediate relatives that may or may not have been working at a business or started a business or something like that. So that is an incredible factor that never gets considered when talking about dumbass Ben Shapiro style takes, where it's like, dude, only 7% of wealth is actually inherited. Yeah, no shit, because by the time your fucking father dies, how the fuck you're gonna already be like 50 years old, idiot. You've already taken advantage of being born to a wealthy family at that stage. You've already either made it or you've died yourself from a drug overdose or some shit. Statistics equals take. Yes, when you look at random, out of context stats and associate that with a fucking worldview and spin it, then it is literally a take. How is this hard to comprehend? God damn it, dude. STEM lords, whenever STEM lords try to approach social sciences, they show their asses so much because they're like, it's a number. I only know how to operate with numbers. Math, by the way. Stats, by the way. Like, it's the interpretation of that data that is fucking idiotic, moron. Data just existing on its own is completely fucking meaningless. You can say 7% of wealth is inherited, but you have to look at why that stat is so dumb if you're using that to say that most of the wealth generated in this country is being generated through hard work. Fuck, man. Even STEM lords should understand that all data exists within a certain context. A lot of STEM lords do understand that reality, especially ones that are in this community. But some who are in the margins have been duped by other fucking clever social science majors like Ben Shabino into believing really dumb interpretations of data that corresponds to their pre-existing biases.
Once you have achieved a certain status, it seems natural to feel like you deserve it and all the other good things that come your way. Now, this is just an anecdote, but whenever I've been upgraded to fly business class, I've always observed the worst behavior in my fellow privileged passengers. They just act so entitled and uncourteous. And research has found evidence for this as well. In another experiment, participants were asked to think of a good thing that happened to them recently. And then one group was asked to list their own personal qualities or actions that made that good thing happen. Another group was asked to list external factors beyond their control that led to the event. And a control group was simply asked to list reasons why the good thing happened. Now, for completing this task, participants were told they would be paid $1. But at the end, they were offered the option to donate some or all of the money to a charity. Results showed those who listed their own personal attributes contributed 25% less than those who listed external factors beyond their control. Now, think of what all this means for people in our society, specifically for people in positions of power, like business leaders and politicians. Now, undoubtedly, most of them are talented and hardworking, but they have also been luckier than most. And like most of us, they don't realize just how lucky they are. And this gives them a distorted view of reality. They're kind of
Called survivorship bias.
living in a form of survivor bias. All these leaders have worked hard and ultimately succeeded, so to them the world appears fair. In their experience, it rewards hard work. But what they don't have is the experience of all the people who have worked hard and failed. So what are they to make of people less successful than themselves? Well, the natural conclusion is that they must just be less talented or less hardworking. And this perspective makes them less inclined to be generous.
And to the people who are saying spoiling the video or you pre-watched it, no. I just pre-watch Republicans all day. So I know all about the dumbass biases that they fucking have and constantly throw around as though it's like, as though their personal anecdotes are a matter of fact and a reason alone to have the worldview that they have. It's idiotic.
To give back. And they are the ones who set the rules for how society operates. And this is particularly unfortunate since one of the main ways many of us are lucky is in our country of residence. But what is a country except for the things put there by people who came before? The roads and the schools, public transport.
Okay, this is literally communism. Like, not the not to do this, but like this entire video is just straight up fucking agitprop, dude. It's insane. They are talking about how like all of these roads and all of these schools were built by others that came before us. Like this is literally a line out of Kropotkin. I'm not even kidding. Like this is a classic anarcho-communist take to talk about that talks about how every fucking brick was laid before you by someone else and through our collective efforts. Pretty sure Vsauce and Veritasium are dem socks, lol. Yeah, like this is literally out of the bread book, dude. What a fucking insane video. I am so glad that they made this.
Oh, you're such a big man.
So is that not true? No, of course it's true. It's just not something that people like to think about, especially with the hyper individualistic understanding that Americans usually have. No, this is not even just about tax dollars paying for it, which is also significant. This is about how every single thing that we, like, since the beginning of society, every single thing that we have built has been built upon previous, like, the labor of others. And that there is no way an individual is independently wealthy. Obama even said, you didn't build that. And he was right. And people got really fucking upset. But it's true.
Transport, emergency services, clean air and water, everything like that. It seems a cruel trick of our psychology that successful people without any malice will credit their success largely to their own hard work and ingenuity, and therefore contribute less to maintaining the very circumstances that made that success possible in the first place. The good news is that acknowledging our fortunate circumstances not only...
My man is just saying abolish conservatives, by the way. Like, that is like... I mean, liberals also have that same kind of conservative understanding, which is just like throwing the ladder behind you, like kicking the ladder back once you've taken advantage of it. This is kind of like, you know, mother of objectivist thought, Ayn Rand, taking advantage of welfare programs and Social Security later on in her life because, of course, why the fuck shouldn't she? Obviously she should. Or literally Paul Ryan, who took advantage of social safety nets when his father died of alcoholism. Social safety nets that allowed him to be able to go to fucking college and get an education where he fantasized about destroying those very same social safety nets. Ayn Rand was an anarchist, bud. It's bait, right? I can't. I'm just going to keep going.
Brings us more in line with reality, it also makes us more likable. In a study where people had to read the transcript of a fictional 60 Minutes interview with a biotech entrepreneur, experimenters tried changing just the last paragraph where the interviewee is talking about the reasons for their company's success. In one version, the entrepreneur personally takes credit for the success they've had, but in the other, he says luck played a significant role. Now, people who read the luck version of the transcript judged the entrepreneur as kinder and thought they'd be more likely to be close friends with him than those who read the other version of the transcript. And raising our awareness of fortunate events can also make us...
If success was due to hard work alone, laborers, farmers, etc. would be millionaires. Yeah. Yeah. How the fuck does the Guatemalan migrant farmer... How the fuck does a Guatemalan migrant farmer not make $1 billion if it's just about... If it's just purely about fucking working hard? Stolen from comments? I literally highlighted and read the comment and said, yeah, I agree. That's not stolen. That's me highlighting the comment personally. What more do you want me to do in that circumstance? If that's stolen, then I don't know what to do. Work smart, not hard is the comeback. Yeah, I know. Except the point is, How the fuck are you going to say that that guy isn't capable of working smart when it's his current social or material conditions that have forced him into that job?
This is a deranged
That's the idiotic part. Oh, just work smart. Like what? Get a fucking $250,000 loan from your family and friends like Jeff Bezos did to start his first venture inside of their parents' garage? Have some capital on top of that? That's not just working smart. That's literally luck. It's RNG. Where you were born on this planet and which family you were born into is such a significant part of whether or not you're going to make it or not.
Us happier because it allows us to feel gratitude. Personally, I am grateful to Michael Stevens of Vsauce, who on October 7th, 2012, posted the video, How Much Does a Shadow Weigh?, which shouts out my slow motion slinky drop video. And within 3 days, my subscribers had increased by 1/3, and within a month, they had doubled, leading me to quit my part-time job and work exclusively on YouTube videos.
Literally, me too. Same. It's not being hyped by anyone specifically, but it's pure luck that it's pure luck that I decided to do like fucking Tommy Lauren takedown videos that fucking out of pure luck blew the fuck up. And then on top of that, got me signed to WME, which then said you should go to Twitch. And for 2 years, I never actually went to Twitch and decided not to do it. But then Fortnite came around and I was like, I'm playing this video game anyway, so I might as well go onto this platform and play with my friends that I do political commentary with regardless and start streaming to make better use of my time. All of that, those were little dominoes that led to me now streaming on Twitch daily and streaming to a audience that's even larger than TYT's.
This is a deranged pervert.
It's really reductive and silly to just look at it and be like, Tommy Lauren made you, or TYT made you, or Fortnite made you. Obviously, there were so many other factors. But a lot of that, but luck played a significant role in all of that. And I acknowledge that daily. But it doesn't matter. Forgetting someone, Destiny certainly was help too, but no one, and I mean no one, was as helpful as Austin. But that was a back and forth. Same with even Destiny. There was a back and forth there. He was looking for more legitimacy outside of Twitch that I potentially could offer him. I was looking for more legitimacy inside of Twitch that he could offer me, and he did. Austin was looking for people to go on his shows. Trainwrecks too. And it worked perfectly because they all had larger audiences that were introduced to me in a different setting that wasn't exclusively my breakdown videos.
And I'm grateful to the writer of the free newspaper they give out on the trains in Sydney, who didn't quite understand electricity, leading me to post this picture of their article to my Instagram with the caption, "What's wrong with this picture?" And I'm lucky that the first person to answer correctly was a beautiful woman who became my future wife.
Wow.
Yep. That is how I met your mother.
Wow.
Now, initially,
that's an awesome, dude. These guys are awesome, dude. Wow. That's a great story. Holy shit. I'm fucking subscribing right now, dude. This is so cute.
I wanted to make this video just to say our circumstances and psychology
Also, I can't believe you could do this in 10 minutes. Whereas, you know, Ted Mosby tried to do it over fucking, what, 5 seasons and gave us one of the most limp dick ass season finales of all time.
To make us oblivious to our own luck. And this leads successful people to view the world as fair and those less successful than them as less talented or less hardworking. And this is before you factor in any discrimination or prejudice. But it also became apparent to me that I should talk about what to do if you want to be successful in such a world. And I think the best advice is paradoxical. First, you must believe that you are in complete control of your destiny and that your success comes down only to your own talent and hard work. But second, you've got to know that's not true for you or anyone else. So you have to remember, if you do achieve success, that luck played a significant role, and given your good fortune, you should do what you can to increase the luck of others.
Great video, dude. Holy crap. Great fucking video. Mexican Coke is a lie. Okay. Oh, we're back. We're inviting Puff Jacket Daddy back into our homes, Johnny Harris, in a second. But yeah, what I wanted to say about that video is great video overall. Really quick, describes the lie of meritocracy so easily. I think describes it easily in a palatable way without hurting your fifis, which I think is important for a lot of Americans. American fifis get hurt real quick, real easy when something attacks their core principle of rugged individualism. I love it. I'm willing to bet that a bunch of streamers that watch this will probably agree with it after watching this video and recognize their own fucking
Trains podcast. I completely disagree with most of your takes, but I feel your passion.
Recognize their own biases or luck too.
Chuds are pure gold. Keep it up and don't lose your passion.
Oh, you're such a big man, Hasan.
His take at the end to do was pretty shitty. Basically, ignore systemic issues. Wait, did I miss the fucking take on the end? I'm confused. What did he say?
But second, you've got to know that's not true for you or anyone else. So you have to remember, if you do achieve success, that luck played a significant role, and given your good fortune, you should do what you can to increase the luck of others.
What are you talking about? I'm confused. What are you guys upset about with this?
It became apparent to me that I should talk about what to do if you want to be successful in...
There's a Minecraft streamer. What? I'm confused. This means giving chat shout outs and pay fair?
In such a world. And I think the best advice is paradoxical. First, you...
Yeah, he said before you take into account discrimination and systemic problems. That's true. What do you want him to do? That's an entirely different fucking video if you want to talk about like systemic discrimination. Yeah, what do you want to do? Just because he doesn't factor that in this one, it's not enough. Why isn't this video a 45-minute rendition of not only some of the better works that describes systemic racism, but also immediately associates that, talks about that through the lens of dialectical materialism? I am really frustrated. Why did YouTube Man only make a 12-minute video? Why didn't YouTube Man make a 45-minute video that literally covers every aspect of discrimination? XQC is grateful. We'll get to that in a little bit. This is why the left sucks at education. All their videos are like 3 hours long. Yeah, how about everybody shut the fuck up and appreciate a random dude that probably isn't even a fucking like avowed leftist or anything, that made a really good, really palatable video that describes the lie of meritocracy perfectly in a fucking 10-minute video. How about that? All right, I'm moving on. We are inviting Mexican Coke and also Johnny Harris onto our stream.